Misinfo of doom. Agamatsu, the master of baiting, got me. God damn you, slippery slug. I'm a gusto when I get my hands on you. Anyway, in today's video, I want to cover some of Agamatsu's responses to my last video and go over some counter responses, as well as new thoughts based on what he said, and some things that I saw that you guys said, as well as some other stuff some other YouTubers said, because I think it's actually a pretty interesting topic. New video with Facecam on the live channel, and along with that, I'll be live at twitch.tv/Reaconteur 20 minutes after this video goes out with my Facecam, so come check me out over there when you're done here, and of course make sure to subscribe, because basically nobody is, and now let's get straight into it. Alright, so other than masterfully baiting me, as Agamatsu usually does, he also said that he never nudged the devs for rare things like whistling and dormant splinter. Now, I was actually a little bit surprised by this, but I don't think it means that there was zero influence from Agamatsu at the time, which is what I really meant from the beginning. I don't think Agamatsu talked to Reaconteur or Archmage and said, hey guys, add rare grindable items that are super rare and hard to get that are also pretty strong. I think they just saw the results of various polls he did asking about rarity and stuff like that, and the player sentiment they saw may have inspired their decisions to include super rare items like those, thinking that it was a good idea for the player base. Agamatsu also said that what I said, or what I was saying, wasn't really true, and that the rarity of many of these items that are super rare, like the named items and the red items, exist past the possibility of being hunted. As in, they're so rare that you might as well not try and farm them, and if you find it, you just find it. Like you're the chosen one, which is why most people who play the game haven't even seen them, including the item dupes that have been happening recently. He also claimed that I didn't mention them being temporary, which is another specific reason why they can't really be super meta in conjunction with their rarity, which to him means it serves more so as a flex item, which makes it cooler because most people wouldn't risk losing it by bringing it into Chime or a gank. But it's not really lost in Chime right now, which is the problem. Now yes, the items do serve mostly as flex items, but they are extremely powerful and to an extent are kind of insane. And I disagree with him saying most people haven't seen them, including even the dupes, because I've seen Bloodbane and Warmonger in multiple clips within the last few days after the duping has happened, which I'm surprised these items don't have the same anti-dupe protection armor kits were given years ago. But excluding that, because the duped items are an outlier, the weapons as they are do not void if you die in Chime. Yeah, people would be hesitant to have them in ganks, because in a gank you can lose them, because if you die in the overworld you'll lose them. But in Chime of Conflict, feel free to bring your Warmonger in, because it has no downsides, and that is where I think it's a bit unbalanced. Because yeah, maybe like 100 people ever will be using the Warmonger, but this thing is insane even without its unique talents. Like, the stats are crazy. 27 base damage with 10 heavy scaling is wild. At 100 heavy, I'm pretty sure this thing is doing like 54 damage per hit before buffs. And also, I don't think Agamatsu necessarily does it as a retention trick, but I do think that that may have been the goal of the Dormant Splinter or Whistling Periapt. Agamatsu said that it would be lame to do it as like a player retention trick, including super rare items that people have to grind for. And I didn't mean it like Agamatsu specifically is doing it like that, but it can function like that. And I don't necessarily think that the developers other than Agamatsu who haven't thought of that, because neither of those items, being the Dormant Splinter or the Whistling Periapt, are as rare as the named items like Warmonger, and they're also really good, making people have a lot more hope to get them, and they're both good enough to be worth farming if you want them. Like, I love the Whistling Periapt, I think it's super good, and kind of serves as like a beta version of the named items and what's to come with those, being much stronger and much more unique in their effects, but being harder to get and rarer. Now, along with that, I don't think people will necessarily not farm for them. There are definitely at least a few hundred people who no-life the game enough to farm the items, including the red items, but that's not just for the flex. Like, a good example is this guy, his name is like Mid-G or Midge or something like that, and apparently he blows ass at the game. He's like a staff member, he's like a moderator or something that has one of these, but he hit Godseeker after getting the Bloodbane, and Bloodbane has insane talents. If you don't know what it does, it heals you like 4% of your max health per hit, and the dumbass crit on this weapon does damage when it lands, but it also does 40 tick damage even if you dodge it. So if you parry it, you won't get hit by it, but even if you dodge the crit, which it's a Zweihander crit, so most people instinctively go to dodge it because of the weird delay that it has. But if you do that, you'll take the 40 damage, which is basically an M1, and you get hit by the full crit. You take the full crit's damage plus 40, and also the 40 tick damage, I'm pretty sure it heals you the way the M1s do. Not entirely sure about that, but I've heard that. So yeah, the weapons can't be meta due to their nature, but they definitely aren't fair. And when so many people prefer to play Chime of Conflict over ganking anyway, there is basically zero downsides right now to these weapons because you can't lose them in Chime. And I've always hated Chime. I think it ruined a lot of the game for me, and the entire reason why they added War Mode, for example, was to try and bring back overworld ganking. But the problem is people like ranked systems. If they had overworld ranks like Rogue Lineage, I think it'd help, but people love having high Chime elo. Those dopamine receptors fry when they see that +7 after winning the easiest fight of their life against a guy who barely moved. And maybe they're supposed to be lost in Chime, because Agamatsu said that in his message, but as as they are now, they aren't lost in Chime. That means that they are riskless, broken, super rare weapons that people can just carry themselves with in Chime. And that should not be how these operate. And yeah, actually, Aga said they should be lost in Chime devs. But Bloodbane and Warmonger definitely are not. And personally, I have no problem with items being hard to get or rare, as long as the obtainment itself is at least unique or fun. I get you're not supposed to grind for the named items, and that's part of what makes them so rare, but that's stupid, because people definitely will and are. And I feel like giving such a small group of people lucky enough to get them the massive advantage that they currently have, specifically in Chime of Conflict where most people play, is dumb. Now, assuming the items will be fixed and lost in the Chime of Conflict, I think there isn't too much of a fault with them being strong, but as they are now, they aren't healthy. I just think these items really should serve as a flex rather than an overpowered Chime sweeper, which is literally their initial point, but then that brings me all the way back to Hambic. If these items are so rare and really only serve as a flex, why the fuck did you guys void the first lore significant item introduced to the game in months? The Ring of the Forgotten King. I covered the story behind how it was found and voided last video, so for those of you who don't know, quick recap. Streamer Salami found it live. Because he found it live, hundreds of people saw it. Agamatsu voided it in response, and now it's removed from the game. Unfair situation given the fact he was punished just for streaming and happened to be someone who found it, but deadass, what was supposed to happen? So it clearly did something, because Agamatsu baited everyone into thinking it didn't, which was what I put in my last video. But not only was it a lore significant item belonging to the old King of Etria, or at least implying to be, but it was also guaranteed to be leaked due to who found it. And even if he didn't, why are we gatekeeping game lore? I fucking hate the way that most of Deepwokens lore is found through developer statements. By the way, that was my second F word, so this video remains PG-13. I won't be using any more of them. But also, a potentially lore significant item is gatekept to the point where it's removed. Why was it even necessary? The ring is so rare that basically nobody had it anyway, and if red named items are meant to be a flex, why punish people for a flex with a dumbass vague description? Like the item says in the description, to be wary of letting others know that you have it. I feel like most people would naturally assume that just means it's droppable or lost on death, not voided because you took a screenshot. That's dumb CC game style bullshit. This is the type of roleplay stuff you'd see in CC games where maybe 50 people are in it. A game with thousands of players isn't suited for this gimmick. Nobody's gonna think the developers are gonna void their 1 in 100,000 drop chance item for screenshotting it and posting it. This almost feels like an April Fool's joke, because how do they expect an item like this to stay secret? And then on top of that, for named items, they do little things like titles, like how the Bloodbane's first user got a special title in game saying that he was the Bloodbane's first user, so now he's technically a lore figure. Cool. Why? Like, no, really, why? Like, if someone doesn't have Discord, is banned from the Discord, then they just can't get it. Why not just make it automatically given to the first person to get it in-game? This is so easily doable. I just don't think a game as big as Deepwoken has any right or sensical ability to do things like this. It really doesn't make sense. I know it's to weed out exploiters who farm for these items, but if these items are rare beyond farming for them, why not automatically grant it to the first wielder? And then nobody can get special titles like that through duping and just happening to be the first person who turned it in via Discord DMs. And then at that, it's not like you can just black market like these accounts, you know? Like, nobody's gonna be advertising black market selling a named title account with this title, because then the Deepwoken devs are gonna be like, oh, that's a title account you're selling? Cool, banned. It's that easy. It's not like they're black marketable. And if these items are supposed to be flexes, why make them so strong? Like, I get, like, they void on death, but, like, you could just, you know, make them cool skins and not make them void on death. Like, why not just make it, like, a cool weapon skin or a reskin of a weapon that's maybe got, like, a unique talent or two to it that's not super broken, but it's more of a flex now because you can have it permanently, and you don't have to have it just, like, sitting on a wall displayed in your guild base or something. You can actually use it, and you can actually flex it on people. Overall, I think my opinion on rare named items has changed a bit, but I think they do need some fixes. Like, bro, let's drop everyone's Chime elo by 300 or more if they've been using these in Chime, because why have they not been lost on death for like the last 2 weeks? I also just feel like some of it is too CC game-ish. Like, Deepwoken is too big for some of the concepts they're trying to put in the game, with very little explanation to a player base that probably won't get that they literally shouldn't be showing off items, or they could just lose them. And little side note, but a certain YouTuber who I won't name because I like him and I disagree with this take, and I don't want him to get hate for it, said, well, you can spawn him with a battle axe, and that's not rare or fair. In response to my last video, who cares? First of all, the game shouldn't be balanced around freshy combat. That's irrelevant. Just because the battle axe is the best starter weapon doesn't really mean much. And second of all, even then, the disparity between a freshie with a sword versus a battle axe is less than the disparity between two high elo Chime players, one with Bloodbane and the other with a normal weapon. And and at that, no freshies like need to be doing PvP anyway. There's no incentive for it. Also, this is off script, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm literally recording this part during editing because I was just thinking about it while listening to this. It is fair. It's literally fair. It's not rare, and it is fair because everyone has the option to do it. Like, yes, everyone can spawn with a battle axe, which does make it fair. Oh, and if you're like, but I didn't spawn with a battle axe, it's like 10, 20 notes to buy a battle axe. So actually, it is fair, because it's not rare, and anyone can do it at any time. It just wasn't an important thing to bring up, because even then, the better player in Freshie Combat will still almost always win, versus the better player potentially losing in Chime due to the edge that certain named weapons like Warmonger or Bloodbane can give in comparison to legendary weapons or more common weapons. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. New video on the live channel with my face in it. All the videos in the live channel will have my face in it from now on, except for one, which is going to be the Beholder Conductor video, because I recorded that before the face reveal. Song cover dropping probably next week, so buy any tier YouTube membership to hear my song covers. And I'm live at twitch.tv/Reaconteur with Facecam 20 minutes after this video goes up, or 20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays, Wednesdays, and some Fridays. Not this Friday, but next Friday I will be live. And shout out to my YouTube members of tier 2 or higher: Philip, Akio Sugikuni, Zerksky, Fun Guns, Crypto, Broccoli, Delusional Mo, Suited Wendigo, love you, mwah, Freshie, Theo's Banners, Corin, Captain Frost, Jaywa, Drizzy Drake Fan, and welcome back to Immature Dev, good to see you again, and welcome to new tier 2 member, Quite Delectable Wardrobe. I love you, Quite Delectable Wardrobe, and I love you all. Have an amazing day, and goodbye.